Terrible government regulation, poor quality AI, and divisive algorithms are the main reasons the internet is progressively getting worse. If the internet loses more freedom than a North Korean citizen, just me gang. Someone me please. It truly feels like the internet has noticeably declined in the past 5 years. Since TikTok's complete takeover of short-form content, not only does everyone use the internet, but every other social media site has tried to rip TikTok's formula, which has homogenized a lot of content. Coupled with the timing of online AI implementation, and now new internet regulations which are huge privacy overreaches, the internet just seems to be declining in quality. If you're sadly British, like me, you've probably wanted to take a little goon break from complaining about the unimaginable British summer heat of 27 degrees, tried to open up a silly site, only to see you need to submit your ID to access it. Literally 1984. It's a cruel world, bro. Weirdly, no one wants to associate themselves with the crazy stuff they watch online. Because we all watch crazy, silly material, right guys? Right guys? And yeah, I'm not saying the word that sounds like corn because I need to scrape my £10 from this video, bro. I'm broke as hell. But as the internet slowly becomes more regulated and data hungry, will people start to spend less time online? Or are we all too dependent on watching reels of bald men covering themselves in red paint? Hey, maybe that's just my reels, I don't know. The internet's current state is worrying, but where does it go from here? Recently, the UK has taken its biggest loss since my royal goat trucker, Queen Lizzie, died. Rest in peace, Crody. The Online Safety Act. The Online Safety Act is something you've definitely heard about, unless you've been in a Fen-induced coma for the past month. No, it's not just a gooning ban, it's actually way worse and has serious implications. Passed in 2023 under the Conservative Party, this UK legislation implements 3 stages of internet regulation. Stage 1, detecting illegal content. Stage 2, age regulation for inappropriate content. Stage 3, categorized services protections. Earlier in the year, Stage 1 of the OSA led to Apple being forced to give the government encryption keys to users' iCloud storage, meaning the government has free reign to access any photos or videos you store on your iCloud to make sure there's no illegal content. This is such an insane breach of privacy. And how does that protect children? It's just surveillance. Maybe the Facebook schizo conspiracy theorist guys are right, bro. Maybe it is time to tinfoil all my walls. On the 25th of July, Stage 2 was implemented, adding age regulation for British internet users, restricting inappropriate, adult, or harmful content to those aged 18 plus. Websites hosting this content now legally require users to verify their age through submitting their ID or through live AI face scans, which aren't sent to the government, but to privately owned third-party companies like Persona, Yachty, or KWS. Stage 2 granted Ofcom, the UK's government-approved communications regulator, rights to regulate websites in line with the new laws. Ofcom has a bunch of controversies over decades, but they're a regulator, so you know, they have ops plotting 24/7. The OSA's main intention is to protect children, which sounds like a good thing, obviously, but its implementation is clearly about control and surveillance. Again, literally 1984. Bro, gooners are the most oppressed group in society. What counts as harmful is not consistent and is obviously subjective to a degree. I'm sure the average parent's definition of inappropriate is wildly different compared to an Ofcom employee's definition. Bro, they probably think Family Guy will radicalize your kid.
Hi. I'm looking for a white lady that's tattooed and dominant and be willing to put me in a dress and beat the shit on me. Call me.
Many services and websites you use daily are included in these regulations, not just gooner sites. Sites like Reddit, Twitter, Blue Sky, and services like Discord and Xbox have all been forced to make users verify their age to use the service or to access certain parts of it, which is just crazy. As to be part of society and participate with social media, you now need to give your ID away to huge databases, which definitely do not pose huge security risks and will not be the priority for hackers and cybercriminals in the future. I love giving my ID away. I love no privacy. Yeah, it's really dumb. It quite literally is just gathering all the most sensitive information possible about a person in one place, but for millions of people. Now, not only do people not want to have their browsing habits on normal websites tied to their literal ID, but nobody wants the insane, silly material they watch to be tied to it either.
I want to play something here. Oh, play my favorite.
Does privacy exist anymore? Are we China? In 5 years' time, will I be able to watch CBT in peace without it affecting my British credit score? The amount of damage potential from Persona or Yachty's databases being hacked is unbelievable. Brother, if one of them get hacked, every single person in the UK is getting bribed. Those hackers can just charge whatever they want. They know everyone will pay. It's beyond cooked. Imagine your dad's or uncle's silly habits get leaked and they've been watching something like Thug House 18 Gallons. How do you approach that? Could you look your dad or uncle in the eyes again, knowing he watches thugs drink golden nectar? Considering some of the main age verifiers are US based, can they really be trusted with UK data? Look at Palantir, literally making a mass surveillance database on all citizens. And Palantir's CEO is kind of insane.
You would prefer the human race to endure, right? You're hesitating.
Yeah, well,
Yes?
I don't know. I would,
This is a long hesitation. This is a long hesitation.
There's so many questions and
Should the human race survive?
Slightly mental. Persona is US based, Yachty is US based, KWS is owned by Epic Games. Why the f are Epic Games getting involved in this? Go do Fortnite stuff. In Persona's privacy policy, it states they keep your ID for up to 3 years, which is genuinely crazy. Corporations have morals and respect challenge. Impossible. Whilst these companies are currently trustworthy, they have millions of IDs tied directly to users' browsing habits, which is just a huge overstep in user privacy and security. They have every incentive to sell the most valuable data about people, other than UK law preventing this. And historically, data companies have never done anything bad with users' data. The UK is clearly very angry about this, but in typical UK fashion, people complain for 3 days, then roll over like dogs and forget. The British need to be like the French and have a spine, bro. We need to admire the French instead of having this fake beef with them. Anytime the French government does something that even slightly inconveniences the people, they protest until they get their own way. Bro, they have their government on a leash, whilst we let ours do whatever they want whilst we watch from the cuck chair. Bro, we're so cucked by our government, it's crazy. They also passed a bill that basically made protesting illegal. And guess what happened? Absolutely nothing. Crickets. I'm tired, ass. An online government petition to repeal the OSA reached over 500,000 signatures, and VPN sales increased massively. NordVPN sales increased by 1,000%, whilst Proton VPNs increased by 1,400%. Kids know what VPNs are too. You seriously think there weren't thousands of TikToks made instantly about how to get a VPN? Stupid government. I even personally bought a VPN, and that's why this video is sponsored by Mole. You got pump faked again. You dumbasses thinking I've got sponsors at only 7k subs. Gullible. It's clear that people genuinely want to protect under 18 from harmful sites, but just disagree with the methods the OSA has implemented to do so. New research in August by Ipsos, a market research company in the UK, found that 69% of people are in favour of age verifiers to protect children from harmful content, while 16% oppose them and 13% are neutral. The percentage of those in favour increases with age and also changes with political alignment, with Reform UK voters being least in favour and Lib Dem voters being the most. When asked about their confidence that the Online Safety Act will prevent under 18s from harmful content, 50% are not confident, 18% are neutral, and 27% are confident. However, when asked about the likelihood that they personally would submit their ID for verification, only around 37 to 38% are okay with submitting their ID for social media and messaging apps. But that number quickly declines with other services like forums, Wikipedia, and silly sites. Overall, people clearly want a different system for this. It's basically an impossible issue to solve without dividing people. Experts in software engineering and cybersecurity also think that the OSA is poor legislation. Alan Woodward, a cybersecurity expert at the University of Surrey, said the OSA was technically dangerous and ethically questionable, and that mass surveillance and mission creep were almost an inevitability. Many other experts agree with similar points Woodward made, but they're basically all in agreement that the OSA was clearly about implementing China-tier surveillance and not about protecting children from dangerous content online. The Online Safety Act is bad for so many reasons. 1. It puts users' data at risk, as their literal ID and browsing habits are stored in huge databases outside of the UK with different data protection laws, making these databases society's new crit spots to cause chaos. It's also a complete breach of our right to privacy. 2. Bad actors could so easily scam people for their IDs by making fake ID verification websites, causing so many problems for people who aren't competent with the internet. For example, your grandpa just wanted to watch some UFC highlights on what he thought was YouTube, but submitted his ID to a fake site. And now his ID is being used by some Belgian guy to smuggle filled cigars into the UK. It's literally just created another way for people to get scammed online. 3. Younger people will just go to more unsafe, smaller sites which are avoiding regulations to access the same content, putting them at risk of seeing worse things than these surface-level, silly sites. It just funnels them into more dangerous sites instead of preventing them from accessing any inappropriate content. It's like cancelling a midnight train to prevent young people from using it. All you're doing is forcing them to walk on the streets instead, which are way more dangerous. Ofcom, the regulator and enforcer of this act that I mentioned earlier, also literally have a list of links on their website to adult sites that aren't following ID verifications. They're literally just giving people directions. Also, I did some professional research and found that so many silly sites are just open and don't require age verification. You don't need Ofcom's list, bro. Search for 1 minute and you'll find crazy stuff, like way crazier than normal sites. Like the sort of crazy stuff that only occurs in Berlin nightclubs, which is obviously way worse for children to use now. 4. Important information may end up being censored due to the subjectiveness of it being inappropriate. It just gives potential bad actors a legal framework to censor any information they disagree with, or at least make it harder to access. There are certain parties that would censor information that they disagreed with if they won an election. And politically, we have no idea what the future looks like. Now we move on to stage 3 of the act. And if stage 2 wasn't bad enough, stage 3 of the act will be. Stage 3 categorizes all websites into 3 different categories. Category 1 is the strictest, categorizing sites with 34 million plus monthly users, allowing user-generated content, and has a content recommendation system. Basically all social media sites. Category 2A is for sites with 7 million plus monthly users that also have a search engine service. Category 2B is the least strict, meant for sites with 3 million plus monthly users that have a messaging system. All websites fitting any of these criteria must follow new rules depending on which category they fit into. These rules make sense for huge social media sites, as it means that content posted there must actually be regulated, unlike Instagram's current regulation. Instagram regulation is basically not real. It's like going on old Live Leak, to be honest. But other huge sites that meet these standards, like Wikipedia, may be in trouble. Wikipedia is genuinely the most important website there is. It's had my back when reading about gonorrhea, the same way it's held my hand whilst reading about CBT. It's the GOAT website. And it references all its sources, so you can personally go and fact check information. Wikipedia would not be able to meet the new regulations if it were designated Category 1, as it relies on user contributions for almost all of its information and only has around 700 employees. They would have to verify the identity of all those who contribute to pages on the website. Yeah, I'm sure the people who wrote the wiki page about foot fetishes and armpit fetishes would definitely want their identities tied directly to that. Wikipedia recently started a lawsuit against the UK government about this, but sadly lost their appeal on the 11th of August. Obviously, as Wikipedia is such a valuable resource, it should be exempt from these guidelines. But this idea had been discussed by UK ministers, and it may be a possibility, even though they lost their court case. Tens, if not hundreds of millions of people use Wikipedia daily, including me. I'd be reading about flowers and butterflies and other crazy masculine shit. Wikipedia is so crazy to target. It's one of the most valuable resources for free information, and the government is actively trying to harm it. They better make an exception for my boy. I just want to read about the Faladon massacre and they're trying to censor it. Leave me and information about my 20-year-old fat nerd game alone, please. I'm also certain there will be a bunch of other websites caught in the crossfire of this, and that it will destroy many online communities due to some of the new regulations that are clearly meant for super rich companies, not small independently run sites and forums that receive decent traffic but don't profit much. To put it in simple terms, the government was put in a self-defense situation and had to shoot through a crowd of people to take out the one bad guy. Whilst the Online Safety Act was passed under the Conservative Party in 2023, basically all other political parties also support the act. Labour are the current government, and are currently responsible for implementing this awful act. There's only one party who claim to be against the OSA currently, and that one party is sadly Reform UK. Put me on I watch, man. I can't take this shit no more. Oh my god. Labour's messaging has been so bad about the OSA, it's a joke. Calling anyone who opposes the OSA pedophiles is unsurprisingly a really bad choice for optics.
If you want to overturn the Online Safety Act, you are on the side of predators, not those who want to keep children safe.
Considering no one wants this act, except from old out-of-touch MPs. It's like Labour are literally trying to lose the next election. They're literally alley-ooping reform the win at this point. I get why the act is there, obviously, to prevent harm to children, but the method they've chosen is more harmful than beneficial. Such poor choices from one of the few parties that are worth voting for. Reform are almost definitely lying about their intentions with repealing the OSA, as they just say anything that will get them votes. In case you don't know about them, go watch my last video, but people seem to have political dementia and forget any politician's past and will vote for them again, even if they've done something terrible before. Man, what a bad position we're in right now. Choosing between parties that will slowly revoke online privacy, or a party that will defund the UK's social services and give tax cuts to the rich, while also probably revoking online privacy. Whatever you pick, we still lose online privacy, but one is clearly a much better option than the other. It's just a rough situation to be in. To conclude, the Online Safety Act has shown to be a mess that has not solved any issues, but just caused more with its implementation. It has only united people against those in favour of it. Regardless of where you sit politically, you probably are against losing online privacy. We just need better online regulation in place that prevents harm to children, but also doesn't ruin the internet and privacy for everyone. Anyway, don't vote for stupid populists that blatantly lie, and this act sucks and needs improving. Go outside and forget about the internet. It might help us all, to be honest. Thank you for watching. Go watch my other videos. If you like this one, you will definitely like them all, I promise. Thank you.